Brown was into the secondary before anybody knew he had the ball, and he broke a tackle and scored.
Boy, BYU needed a drive there. Their defense had been on the field a long time, and they come through. McLaughlin onto the field to attempt the extra point. Riley Weber with the hold. Kick is on the way, and good once again. We'll get another look at this one. An extra effort from Curtis Brown.
There's the fake. Curtis Brown gets in there. Look at that nice hole by number 78 of BYU. Number 78, Brian Sanders, just completely turned his defender around, and that's what you call a pancake block.
Curtis Brown, and BYU extends their lead back to 2 touchdowns at 21-7. Well, the sun has broken through the clouds here at LaVell Edwards Stadium. BYU breaking through on offense. 7 plays, 77 yards. A little over 2 minutes on that scoring drive. McLaughlin's kick will sail deep into the backfield, and Air Force will elect to take a knee. The Falcons will have the football at the 20-yard line. Adam Fitch still in this ball game for Air Force. Remember, just a few minutes ago, Sean Carney headed to the locker room with what appeared to be a cut on his hand. Expected there'd be some stitches and then we might see him back again. But Fitch with a touchdown in his last possession, and open ups here with a completion across the 25-yard line.
Well, prior to this game, Chris, Adam Fitch was 12 for 28 for 211 yards, which is about a 43% completion ratio, and he'd thrown 2 touchdowns. So he hasn't seen a lot of action, just throwing 28 passes in the first 8 games.
That pass complete to Chad Hall. Cale Buchanan drags him out of bounds, but not before the Air Force Falcons pick up 6 yards on first down. Fitch runs the triple option here, gets away from the first man, but boy, not the second 2. Takes a licking at the 28-yard line. Kyle Lukengay in there for the Cougars, number 92.
If you're not used to watching an option team, watch where number 25 there for BYU. Looks like he runs right past the quarterback, but he's got the responsibility of the pitch man. So when Quinn Gooch runs by there, he's doing exactly what he's taught to do, take away the pitch man, and someone else has the quarterback. So it looks kind of funny out there when someone just runs by the play, but it's by design.
3rd down and 1 now for the Air Force Falcons. Fitch changing things up at the line of scrimmage. He resets the offense here. Less than a yard for that first down. Fitch, deep handoff, got a man out there, complete for the first down and then some. Number 17, Kip McCarthy for the Falcons.
They guessed right on that play. They were thinking BYU was going to blitz up the middle of the field, and they did exactly that. So the best play for blitz up the middle is a pitch outside, and there's what they did. A pitch outside, get about 3 or 4 yards and get the first down.
Well done on 3rd down yet again. Mentioned it during one of our breaks, Gary. Air Force, you think of them as a rushing team, but one of the most creative offenses anywhere in college football when you see what they can do out of their sets. Fitch trying to go up top, put some mustard on that one, complete inside the 30-yard line. I thought that one was going to be 10 yards over Jason Brown's head, complete.
Well, it's not an accident when you catch nine catches for 184 yards in one single game. You know you're going to make some kind of plays like that. And he's 6'4", 225, and he uses his whole size in his arm reach to catch this. And you notice he catches it right out of bounds, right before he goes out of bounds. And one of the requirements for the Air Force Academy is that when you're sitting down, you cannot be higher than 39 inches, or you can't fly in the cockpit of a plane. So maybe Brown might be approaching that because at 6'5", his long arms, his running ability, he's an outstanding athlete, so he may go in a different direction. He might not be a pilot.
This play is under review. They're going to take a look, I believe. Where did his right foot or left foot step out at the end of this one? We'll get one more look at this one, Gary. See if we can get anything definitive out of this last look.
I thought he had it. The first time I saw it, I thought he had it. There's the right foot.
And that foot's down.
That's in. And that one's out. But the right one did come in. He's got the ball with his right foot in, and his left foot hit the line.
Right foot a good 2 yards in bounds.
Now that's a good look. That will be inconclusive right there to change it.
Now remember, you're exactly right. The ball was spotted as a completion. They have to have conclusive evidence to overrule the ruling on the field.
There's the catch. He's got it, and his foot comes down, and his left foot steps out of bounds. But in college football, you just need one foot in to be a catch.
I believe you're exactly right. That left foot did go out, but the right foot is in bounds. Still waiting for the official ruling on the field, however. Well, we have our ruling. The play stands as called on the field, as we suspected after looking at that replay. First down, Air Force from the 29-yard line. Fitch, again, changing things up at the line of scrimmage. BYU sets the defense. The fullback dive is straight ahead to Ryan Williams. Williams maybe a yard to the 28-yard line. Second down and 9 now for the Falcons from the 28-yard line. Triple option attack. This is Fitch trying to get to that corner. Great job by Justin Lucrote for BYU. Loss of 2 on that play thanks to the good job by Lucrote.
And what Lucrote's trying to do there is he's trying to string it out. He's trying to make the quarterback keep going wider and wider and wider. And he holds on to make the tackle. And he had someone else guarding the quarterback on the pitch, too. So they had double coverage on that quarterback that time.
3 of 7 in third down situations are the Air Force Falcons. Big third down here, 3rd and 11. Check Jason Brown. He's split out wide to the left side of this formation. Fitch, it's a penalty flag, flies, throws it, and hit on the backside. Great job of defense for the Cougars. Number 25 in there for BYU, Quinn Gooch. But we'll wait for a ruling on this penalty.
Offside defense, number 25. 5-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
Critical offsides there for the Cougars, 5 yards, and they repeat 3rd down.
Yeah, what happened on that play is Gooch, you see him, he was on the left side of the formation. And when the running back goes in motion for Air Force, what a lot of teams will do, they will blitz that outside backer. And as he went in motion, Gooch sure enough, came and blitzed. But he must have lined up offsides because he did not come across the ball earlier when it was snapped.
Here's another big 3rd down for the Air Force Falcons. What can they put together here on 3rd and 6? Fitch sets the offensive attack. He's got Brown split out to the left side. Again, changing things up at the line of scrimmage. Fitch calls his own number straight ahead, but he'll be stopped well short of the 1st down at the 22-yard line. We've seen it twice this afternoon, where we see it 3 times where Air Force elects to go for it on 4th down.
Well, this particular play, they call it a follow. He fakes it to the fullback, and the fullback should be going in there and blocking somebody. And so it gives him the weapon as the quarterback also can get the ball right up the middle of the field.
Vince Feula providing the tackle for the Cougars, and on 4th down, it looks like Air Force will elect to go for it once again. Fitch and company still talking things over in the huddle, and it looks like the Falcons will call a timeout here and make sure everyone is on the same page. 4th down and 3 for the Air Force Falcons. 2 of 2 on the afternoon. Fitch under center. And this one will be broken up before it started. Looked like BYU might have been offsides, which would be enough for the Air Force 1st down.
Timeout, Air Force. 2nd charge team timeout this half. Number 2.
I don't know how in the world Air Force managed to call a timeout on that one, but that is the ruling on the field.
Well, what also is strange, they had just called a timeout prior to this. So you'd think that you would have got your play down straight because you had about 2 minutes to tell your team what you were going to do. So that's kind of a surprise to call a double timeout.
So after a couple of timeouts, we're set to run a play here. 4th down and 3 for the Air Force Falcons. Fitch fakes the handoff, tosses to the deep. Pitch man well read by BYU, stopped by the Cougar defense.
Well, there you can see the speed of Gooch. He came from nowhere. Quinn Gooch has a safety right cat back. He's got the pitch man on this play. He comes out of nowhere to make the tackle. Right now, there's the option. He's not there. Quarterback keeps it. And here comes Gooch. He's got the pitch man. Wraps him up. Stays on his feet. Wraps up and makes the tackle.
Kip McCarthy thought he had that 1st down for just a moment until Quinn Gooch into the pitcher and stops him short of that 1st down marker. First down for the Cougars from the 23-yard line as BYU has 3:25 to work with until halftime. Beck, all kinds of time back to pass, throws at the last moment, complete across the middle. The second time this afternoon he's run that same play. Michael Reed, first down at the 40-yard line.
There it is, just a straight drop back. They got Reed on the left of the screen over there, and Beck has all day to pass. Now Reed comes off of his route and just finds an open area, sits down, and Beck finds him for a nice completion.
So first down, Cougars at the 40-yard line. BYU again, plenty of time to work with here in the second quarter of action. Beck, shotgun formation. Brown and Tahi in the backfield. This is Curtis Brown, and Brown out to the 45-yard line, tackled inbounds there. 5-yard gain on the play. 2nd and 5 now for the Cougars. Double tight end formation. This is Fahu Tahi. Tahi bowls over the first defender and picks up the Cougar first down into Air Force territory. What a job by Fahu Tahi. We'll get another look at this one.
You see, Tahi's 6 foot, and he's 240 pounds. Now look at, they try to grab his legs. He walks over 2 guys, and that's why the Cougar fans love Tahi. He just continues to drive and drive and drive and break tackles. He's really fun to watch.
Now, mind you, Overton Spence, the man he ran over, 6'2", 245, so it's not a small guy. First down, Cougars in Air Force territory. Beck decides to call his own number and rushes forward for about 4 yards down to the 42. And it looks like the Cougars will elect to take a timeout here. On second down, pass complete to Todd Watkins. About 1 yard shy of the first down. This is a little flip inside to Curtis Brown, and Brown with another BYU first down to the 28-yard line before Julian Madrid can bring him down.
So that's a good call. It's a little shovel pass. If he were to miss it, it would stop the clock, but they only needed a yard. So he drops back, and it works the same principle as a little draw right there. You got the linemen engaged out there on their blocks all day long. You see some more pancake blocks out there. They are really getting movement.
Looks like a play Urban Meyer would be happy with. This is Johnny Harleen. Harleen, another Cougar first down inside the 15-yard line. BYU moving the football successfully.
That's just a little bubble, like a bubble screen there to Harleen. And because of his size and his speed, they want to get him out on the corner where he's about 10 inches taller and 60 pounds heavier. And it's a real mismatch out there, and he picks up a first down or very close to it.
1:13 now showing on the game clock until halftime. The Cougars at the 14-yard line. Beck shifting around some wide receivers here. Resets with Fahu Tahi and Manasi Tonga in the backfield. Beck finds Fahu Tahi. Tahi with all kinds of real estate. Touchdown, BYU.
They ran that same play earlier in the game, and Tahi was also open in the flat. So they've seen something where Air Force's 2 defensive backs will go man-to-man on BYU's 2 wide receivers, and nobody will go out and cover the fullback in the flat. And they've taken advantage of it twice this game.
Now remember, Air Force with a chance to kick a field goal and cut into that BYU lead. They don't get it on 4th down. Cougars come right back down. And a chance here to go up by 3 touchdowns. McLaughlin's extra point is on the way. And good. We'll get another look at this one. Find the nearest defender to Fahu Tahi.
It looks like all open ground out there. Tahi raises the ball. Touchdown, Cougars. Now there you see Johnny Harleen's running the crossing route to occupy 2 defenders. And the guy that was supposed to guard Tahi ended up trying to guard Harleen, and he was wide open.
Little over 1 minute until halftime here at Lavelle Edwards Stadium. Fahu Tahi extends the BYU lead to 3 touchdowns at 28-7. Back again as McLaughlin's kickoff sails into the end zone. Chad Hall will take it out for the Air Force Falcons with all kinds of daylight in front of him. Out across the 45-yard line. What a great return to start things off for the Air Force Falcons. Greg Kirkwood and not Hall on the receiving end of that one.
Kirkwood's the other duo of that pass combination. And together with Jason Brown, they have 54 receptions for 927 yards and 4 TDs. So that's rare at the Air Force Academy where we have such a passing combination like that. So they have the ability in a minute to go to put the ball up in the air and put some points on this scoreboard.
Exactly right. If you're starting from your own 20-yard line, maybe you just run out the clock, but from the 45, many more options available to you. Adam Fitch still in the ball game. No sign of Sean Carney returning yet. Fitch with a deep handoff to number 23, Chad Hall. Hall into BYU territory at the 48-yard line. Justin Robinson in on the tackle. And so time continues to tick away here. Remember, Air Force burned 2 timeouts on that last series right in a row. Quickly the line of scrimmage. This is Fitch. Fitch, the deep handoff out of bounds on this one is number 24, Chad Smith. So the clock stops with 37 seconds until halftime.
Well, that time BYU was trying to get players on the field and some new ones off the field, and they were really mixed up in their coverage. And Air Force was thinking BYU had 12 men on the field, and they ran the play. But now you end up with a second or a third and 3.
Defense number 22 with the 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
So 5 additional yards for Air Force gets them closer to the BYU end zone. Now the Cougars can finally make those substitutions they've been wanting to make, Gary.
Well, sometimes you get in that 2-minute offense, you can't substitute because the plays happen right after one after the other, and you just got to go with your regular guys.
So from the 43-yard line, Air Force with a first down and a little over 30 seconds to work with here in Provo. Fitch fakes the handoff back to pass, wants to go atop in the direction of Jason Brown. Well defended by Cale Buchanan for the Cougars. Incomplete. Boy, Jason Brown, they try to go up top to him again. Finally, the Cougars in good defensive position.
Well, they had time to throw that time, and he's running the post route, and he just throws it more towards the right of the receiver than down the middle of the field because Brown did have a couple steps on his defender that time.
Second down and 10 now, but the down's not as important as the time on the clock. Fitch and company reset. A stacked formation here for the Air Force Falcons. Fitch with some time. Cut blocks at the line of scrimmage, trying to go up top in the direction of Brown. Intercepted by the Cougars. Quinn Gooch with a great defensive play at the 10-yard line.
That's a name we're hearing a lot on this broadcast, Quinn Gooch. He's the one that's responsible for the pitch man on the option, and yet on the pass, he has the deep middle. And here's the quarterback trying to throw another outside deep route, and Gooch breaks on the ball. Looks like he was the primary receiver. He was behind Brown, and he had 35 for BYU right in front of him. That was Cameron Jensen following for the short pass. So he was well covered. BYU comes up with a key turnover and is able to keep the momentum going.
Boy, Quinn Gooch, the MVP of at least the second quarter of action for that Cougar defense. BYU now on the offensive attack, if you will, but I suspect we'll see a couple of straight running plays. Curtis Brown straight ahead for a couple of yards, and that should do it for the second quarter of action, although a penalty flag will fly here. Jake Caressa, and one of the defenders for the Air Force Academy. A little bit of extracurricular activity, and I think you'll see one or both.
Half the distance to the goal. Down counts. Second down.
Personal foul is against the Cougars. Terrence Brown, the guilty party, and an Air Force Falcon down on the field. Back at LaVelle Edwards Stadium for the final just a few seconds here until halftime. Injured Falcon on the play is helped off the field. Ross Mitcherling, the injured Air Force defender. And that'll do it for the first half of action in Provo, Utah. The Cougars looking good offensively. Up by 3 touchdowns over the visiting Air Force Falcons, 28-7 as Bronco Mendenhall leads his troops to halftime. Back Back with the second half of action from Lavelle Edwards Stadium. Chris Twitty alongside Gary Scheide. BYU on top, 28-7 over the visiting Air Force Falcons. McLaughlin set to kick this ball away. Greg Kirkwood will field it about 10 yards deep in the end zone, and he'll take a knee there. So the Air Force Academy will get the football at the 20-yard line to begin this third quarter. And we'll get a look at statistics from that first half of action there. Gary Scheide, walk us through these.
Well, you see the passing yards are right where they should be, 180 yards for BYU and 70 for Air Force. And then the rushing yards is surprising. Like we said earlier, Air Force number 6 in the country, 124, and BYU's right behind him at 117 yards. So the total yards, 300 to almost 200. Penalties about the same. First downs, BYU has a big advantage there, 19-10. And time of possession is pretty close to even.
Air Force, this is Adam Fitch still in at quarterback. Fitch complete to number 23, Chad Hall, as a penalty flag will fly in here. Hall at the 24-yard line, brought down by Justin Lucarote. That is Sean Carney. Carney's still on the sidelines after suffering that injury to his left hand in the first half.
There's a quick receiver screen. Now what they tell the receivers, get to the outside, because the little guys are outside and the big guys are inside. When you run inside like that, you meet a big linebacker, and he unfortunately grabbed his face mask. But those receivers are taught, if you catch the ball, stay outside where the little guys are, and you won't get hurt.
Boy, second big personal foul face mask penalty against the Cougars in this ball game. By the way, Mania Brown just helped to the sidelines, big number 99 for the Cougars. And we'll have to get an update on him. Good news was walked off under his own power. First down, Air Force from the 39-yard line. The ball is fumbled. It's on the ground. Cougar football recovered by Mikhail Safari for BYU.
Boy, if you're Air Force, that's just what you don't want to do to start the third quarter. When you're down 28-7, turn the ball over, give BYU good field position. And at that particular time, they ran the triple option again. And the quarterback, he puts the ball in the fullback's stomach. If the defensive tackle closes down, he pulls it out. There it is. Now he put it too far across. And it wasn't the running back's fault. The quarterback did not get the ball in there. And an alert, Markel Stafari jumps on it.
Jacoby Kendrick, the intended ball carrier on that one. BYU football at the 40-yard line. Beck, all kinds of time, back to pass. Looking for Fahu Tahi, who looked up right at the last moment, incomplete. So the Cougars will regroup here on first down, call it now second down and 10. Air Force, they needed a good drive to begin that third quarter. Not what they wanted. You mentioned, Gary, that turnover. And now John Beck and company a chance to really put some distance between the Falcons and Cougars.
Well, that time it looked like Tahi was looking up into the sun that's come out here and kind of lost him in the sun.
Got to look there. Mania Brown working on that exercise bike, trying to work through whatever kink took him to the sidelines. This is Curtis Brown. Brown straight ahead, still fighting for yardage inside the 25-yard line. Chris Sutton in on the tackle, but not before Curtis Brown picks up, boy, about 17 yards.
There it is, just a little zone read play there. He reads where the blocks are, cuts up the middle, and Curtis Brown in the first half had 71 yards on 8 carries, which is almost a 9-yard average, and he's doing the same thing in the second half. He's leaving off where he started in the first half there. He's got another nice first down gain.
Got a great block downfield from Daniel Coates. A key block on that one. First down for the Cougars from the 23-yard line. Beck under center. Fakes the end around to Colley and will be sacked in the backfield back at the 30-yard line. Well read that time by Overton Spence for the Air Force Falcons.
Yeah, well, what happened that time, that's the old BYU play where you fake the dive, you fake the end around. Now what you have is the inside receiver is going to be running a wheel route up the field, but he tripped as he came out of the backfield. Fahu Tahi tripped and slipped, so Beck had no receiver open, and that's why he was sacked.
Loss on that one sets BYU up in a second down and 16 from the 29-yard line. Beck shotgun formation, 4 wideouts in this pattern. They'll throw it back inside. This is Matt Allen. Allen inside the 25-yard line, back to the 22 before he's brought down by Julian Madrid for the Air Force Falcons.
Yeah, Julian Madrid is the free safety there. This is just a quick little slant, delayed slant. He comes in the middle, and now as he's crossing, He jumps over one guy, doesn't have a chance to plant his feet, and Madrid just nails him to the yard. But it's a nice pickup, putting him in third and about 8.
Third down here is again the officials trying to get the play clock situated to where they want it to be. BYU with a chance to put another score on the board if they can convert here on third down. Watkins split out far to the right of this pattern. BYU 3 of 4, boys, 75% on the afternoon. Hard to beat that. Beck with all kinds of time goes back across his body to Fahu Tahi. Tahi, the well shy of the first down at the 17-yard line. So the Cougars likely will trot the kicking unit onto the field here, although the fans would like him to go for it.
Well, Air Force, what you have to remember, if you look at their statistics, and we looked this up at halftime, Chris, they are 16 for 19 on the year on fourth down conversions. That's a tremendous ratio right there. And here BYU just needs to get something out of this possession to make it a 4-possession game right here.
Jared McLaughlin, number 30, sophomore out of Alabama, will attempt this field goal from 35 yards out. Weber's hold is down. McLaughlin's kick is on the way. And good. So the 35-yard field goal by Jared McLaughlin is true, and BYU extends the lead to 31-7. Back once again to LaVell Edwards Stadium. BYU scores on a field goal. Now Jared McLaughlin will trot back onto the field to kick this ball away. Greg Kirkwood will field it about the 3-yard line. Here comes Kirkwood. Had a nice return in that first half and puts another nice